Three important things before starting with power moves. First one, even though power moves are dynamic movements, they can be split in different positions or freezes. So, before practicing each power move, try to figure out which static positions do you need for this power move. For example, for the windmill, you will need a Taro freeze, a side freeze, shoulder freeze on one side, shoulder freeze on the opposite side. And also staying in the right spot on your back. So learn these positions first and then try to learn the windmill. But this concept can be applied for all power moves. For example, the air flare. Before learning air flares, you need a handstand and the air freeze on both sides, since you are gonna jump from one arm to the other arm. If you can do even more variations like pike freezes, hand-ups, or even inverts, hollowbacks, and so on, even better. The more basics you know, the easier the more advanced moves will get. Second very important thing to know before starting with power moves, try to learn all moves on the same direction. So try to figure out if you spin counterclockwise or if you spin clockwise, and practice all of your moves in the same direction. Many people don't do that and they start practicing, for example, the backspin in one direction but the flare in the opposite direction and so on. And then they figure out they cannot connect the two moves together, but then it's too late and they don't want to do a step back and start practicing the move again from scratch in the other side. So I really recommend to do it from scratch when you start. If you don't know which is your stronger direction, I really recommend to practice all of your moves on both sides at first. And after you practice them on both sides at first, after some weeks or months, choose your best side. About static positions instead, or freezes, I really recommend to practice them on both directions, on both sides. Because freezes are very useful to make your body and your muscles stronger. And if you practice only on one side, then one side of your body and one arm will get stronger, but the other one will be weaker. And it's not good for power moves, because during power moves you use your whole body, you don't only use one side. Third very important thing to know before starting with power moves, start with easy power moves. Don't start directly with flares, with air flares, with 90s. Start with backspins first, start with handspin maybe, or with some rounds of head spins. Start with spinning handstands, and then try to connect these simple moves you can do. Maybe even work a lot on your footworks, because if you can do dynamic footworks, they will be very useful for your power moves, especially the mini swipe or two-step or the one-step helicopter coffee grinder. Or if you try to make your footworks in general more explosive and fast and more dynamic, they will help a lot for many moves. This can be applied not only for footworks, but also for floor work and for back rocks. I really recommend to have strong foundations, footworks, freezes, leg works, back rocks, floor work, to try to make your footworks, your back rocks and all of your moves dynamic and very well controlled, and then start with power moves. Also try to connect your moves together. Many people, they focus too much on one single moves, for example just flare only, and they never try to connect this round of flare to other moves they can do. But this is not the optimal way to practice. The optimal way to practice is try to combine the moves you can do, even if you can just do one round, to other moves. So if you can do one flare, for example, try to connect it to some footworks, and then from your footworks try to do another round of flare, or even just half round of flare, and then exiting the flare in some creative ways. So try to play a lot with your moves. In this way you will get familiar with your moves way faster, instead of just practicing the move itself. Practicing the move itself and stopping like that can lead to hit plateaus very quickly. If you will need more help for your breaking, check out my website. I will leave the link in the description, where you can find coaching programs, video courses and PDF guides. Let me also know in the comments which other videos or tutorials you would like to see, and see you next time with a new video. Yo ninjas!